hard to believe that I first met Bill Hines just over 20 years ago when I began a summer clerkship with the Jones Walker Law Firm. Bill Hines, the man whose mind is the one and only thing that moves faster than the words coming out of his mouth, truly did have me at hello. I found him to be a kindred spirit in so many ways. A dedicated dreamer who cared deeply about what was going on in the world around him and who believed just as deeply that he could and should make a difference. In professional circles, Bill has always been respected as a man of substance and consequence. Generationally, Bill was what we call a tweener. In my mind, at least, he wasn't quite old enough to be a full-fledged baby boomer, but he was old enough to speak with the conviction of his conscience. I've always seen Bill as the voice of reason, often bridging the gap between his father's generation and his. I've recalled countless conversations over the years with Bill about what was the right thing to do for our community, without regard for whether the right thing was popular or not. I've watched for nearly 2 decades as Bill has set the example of what fearless servant leadership is all about. Robert Greenleaf introduced the term servant leadership in an essay over 40 years ago. At the time, it was considered a new kind of leadership model. Think about it. Leadership with serving others is the #1 priority. A holistic approach to work combined with a promotion of a sense of community. And interestingly enough, shared decision-making. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if Bill Hines has ever met Robert Greenleaf or whether he's ever read any of his writings on servant leadership. What I do know is that Bill Hines' service to this community is a standard by which others who strive for a balanced life and for a meaningful life can judge themselves. His wife Mary and his kids will tell you that Bill probably works too much, and his law partners at Jones Walker will tell you just as fervently that he doesn't work nearly enough. But what I can tell you, without reservation, is that I join the chorus of voices who can proudly say to Bill, thank you. Thank you for your servant leadership in this community. No one, except for Mary, is more deserving of this recognition. Congratulations, my friend. I'm proud to know you, and thank you so much for the influence you had on my life and the lives of so many others.
The thing I'm most proud of about Jones Walker is really its reputation for excellent service, high-quality service, and community involvement. Post-Katrina, I think Jones Walker's most important role in this community has really been its community involvement, including providing legal services to different public bodies, social service groups, those types of organizations for free to help restructure the city, and I think our firm has done a good deal of that. 2 things have really most affected my life and my view of Jones Walker in the last decade. The first has been the death of my father in the early part of the decade, where he had spent most of his career working, I guess, purely on internal things at his law firm for his clients and did a great job, but did not do that much external work. If you look at my record, I chose to get much more involved in the community after that. And then as if I needed a second restart, it then was Katrina, which sort of took that up to a whole nother level. And I really don't think I will probably ever be the same again in a more positive way, since Katrina. From an entrepreneurship standpoint, I would really like to speak about a civic effort that also involved the use of legal talents and other sorts of things. The lesson learned is you sometimes have to fail, and in this case, publicly fail to then succeed, and that is embarrassing. We first went after the Vancouver Grizzlies, made a great effort, we think got close, but did not ultimately succeed, and it went to Memphis. We learned from our mistake about what we were missing and why we failed. We came back a second time only a year later, and we did get a little luck, which is when Charlotte did not approve an arena. And then we basically just fine-tuned the Vancouver proposal, and we ended up getting the Charlotte Hornets to move here. And of course now we've had 2 more opportunities to keep them. We've had to get them back from Oklahoma, which we did. And now we have one last time, and I think we're about to hopefully have some good news as this is showing that the Hornets are here for the next 10 years plus. I was an optimist pre-Katrina. I think New Orleans actually was starting to go in the right way pre-Katrina, but I was always told we were just sort of putting lipstick on a pig or nibbling at the edges, and then here came Katrina. Since Katrina, almost every fundamental issue that I was told pre-Katrina we would never address, we're addressing it. In some cases, we're making huge strides, like in education. In other areas, I think we all admit, I'm not going to list those, they're negative, we have more work to do. But I think we've completely tipped in a positive way, and I think it would be very hard for us to go back. I'm the most optimistic I've been since I moved back here in 1981. And I think without junior achievement, if we're trying to redevelop the economy of New Orleans, our poor and our younger students really will be further behind the country in their knowledge of how to get a job and how to work on economic development.